Hey everybody! Ben Stiller for me personally has always been a comedian who is not distinguished by any outstanding acting talent, such as, for example, Jim Carrey. But at the same time, in almost all roles, he looks organic and, importantly, for a comedian funny. Recently, Stiller's career is not that went down, but in the frame, he began to appear much less often while favouring the dramatic genre. And if we talk about his comedy roles, it turns out that in such a role, Stiller they have seen for several years. About what is due to such a long absence of the actor on the screen, we will talk in this clip of pleasant viewing. Traditionally, the story should begin with the very, what is not the beginning. Ben Stiller was born November 30th, 1965th year in New York, in the family of comedy actors Jerry Stiller and Elmira. In 1986th year, Stiller made a short parody of the film Martin Scorsese, The Color of Money. On top of that, Stiller himself starred in this parody, playing the role of Tom Cruise. Ben's work was so successful that it drew the attention of NBC and acquired the rights to show a short film in his show and Night Live, and the actor himself was invited to work as an author of comedy sketches. But on NBC, Ben worked for a very short time, as the channel was not particularly interested in having him shoot short films, the actor himself. On the contrary, wanted to continue to develop in this direction. After leaving the channel, Stiller shot a few more short films and parody music videos, after which television knocked on his door again. This time, it was the channel Fox, which decided not to trifle and immediately offered the actor his own series called The Ben Stiller Show. Such an offer was difficult to refuse, and Stiller did not refuse. The series itself came out quite experimental, and its ratings turned out to be extremely low, which led to its closure after the first season. However, this did not prevent the authors of the show, one Amy, in the nomination for Outstanding Script. After not the most successful experience on television, Stiller decided to try his luck on the big screen. Just to get his first movie role in some director, Stiller was not enough, so he decided to actually hand-put his debut work in Hollywood. The result of such an ambitious task was the picture Reality Bites, in which Stiller acted both as a director and as a performer of one of the roles, and in addition to Ben in the movie, also played Ethan Hawke and Warner Brothers. The movie did more than well at the box office, earning $33 million. With a budget of 11 ml, and also received good reviews from critics and viewers. Stiller's next job was a role in the comedy Fatheads, as well as a brief appearance in the movie Lucky Gilmore. By the way, to the same role, Stiller returned 24 years later, but already in another movie, Sandler Halloween Hubie. In 1996th year, with the participation of Stiller, released such films as If Lucy Falls and Do Not Wake the Sleeping Dog. None of these films did not become a hit, but at the same time, the audience reaction to them was mostly positive. Make a relatively loud mark, however, with his work that year. Stiller still managed. Back in the director's chair, Stiller released the movie Cable Guy, in which the main role played by Jim Carrey, and in this case, the fees of the movie could be called tangible, but not successful. The picture collected at the box office more than $100 million with a budget of $47 million financially. The film was considered a failure as compared to the previous works of Carrey, the list of which already included two parts of Asa Ventura film Dumb is Dumber, and The Mask $100 million in box office receipts seemed like a drop in the ocean. Much of the movie's not-so-great box office receipts were due to the fact that The Cable Guy was a darker comedy. Then again, if you compare it to Carrey's previous work after The Cable Guy. Stiller decided to retreat from directing, focusing on a career as an actor, which, by the way, developed very rapidly. In 1998 years, with the participation of the actor, released 4 films. These were paintings, Your Friends and Neighbours, Zero Effect On, as well as the movie Eternal Midnight, in which Stiller played the author of the series, Alf. But unquestionable, and this time, an unqualified success in the career of Stiller. Became a comedy of the brothers for Really All Crazy About Mary, in which one of the main roles played by Cameron Diaz. The movie, with a budget of $23 million, earned in the global box office $370 million, becoming the 4th in the list of the most profitable films of the year. Of course, such close attention to the picture from the audience positively affected the popularity of Ben Stiller, making him a superstar, but what is no less important. Stiller was able to find his niche in comedy. His image of a simple, good-natured guy who tries to do everything right, but at the same time always gets into some trouble. So loved the audience that Ben over time has not once returned to this image in his future works. But before, in 1999, with the actor came out two more not the biggest projects. These are the movies Kings of Rock and Black and White. In both films, Stiller was not in the foreground and marked a small appearance. Also, in Dev Soyanusto 99, in the career of Stiller, found Room for Failure, which was the movie Mystery Men. Comedy is a parody of superhero movies. The picture was welcomed by both viewers and critics, but whether because of the weak popularity of superhero themes at the time, that or for some other reason, the box office receipts of the comedy were far from ideal indicators and amounted to only $30 million with a budget of $68 million. In 2000, Stiller returned to Tom, where he began his career in the film industry, again starring as Tom Cruise in a short parody, this time for the movie Mission Impossible 2. The parody, shown at the MTV Movie Awards, was liked by both the audience and Tom Cruise himself, which served to spark a friendship between Cruise and Stiller that would also see them collaborate on the big screen in the future. The beginning of the new millennium became for the actor and the beginning of a new successful period in his career. In the 2000th year, he starred in the directorial debut of Edward Norton, which was a comedy keeping faith, and although the tape could not be called hilarious funny. At the same time, the picture turned out to be a good romantic comedy, becoming a worthy representative. This genre. In the same year, the screens came out Comedy Meet the Parents, where Stiller again appeared in the audience's favourite image of simple-minded do-gooder getting into various troubles. This time, Stiller, in addition to all the screen support of a real star in the face of Robert De Niro, which, before this, is not often seen in comedies. Tandem Stiller-De Niro turned out to be excellent and, most importantly, loved the audience, which resulted in solid box office receipts of $330 million with a budget of $55 million. Of course, such success of the movie provoked the release of sequels. First, in 2004 Year on the Screens came out with Fockers, and then in 2010 came out with Fockers 2. Cumulatively, the sequels brought in the pocket of producers another $800 million. In 2001 Year, Stiller decided to return to the director's chair, filming the comedy Model Male, in which the actor performed one of the main roles. The second main role was given to Owen Wilson. Comedy could not be called a blockbuster, given the box office receipts of $60 million. But at the same time, the movie received quite high marks from both viewers and critics. Producers, on the background of the positive reaction of the audience, decided to release a sequel in the hope that this time the good reviews are converted into solid collections. True, they did it 14 years after the premiere of the original picture. The movie earned almost as much as the first part, namely $56 million, which, given the increased budget of the sequel, was an outright failure. This time, in addition to the failure of the box office and the audience reviews were far from ideal. Exemplary Male 2 was recognised as one of the worst films of the 2016 year. During the filming of the first part of Exemplary Male, a friendship developed between Stiller and Wilson, which not only contributed to a great filming process, but also had a positive impact on the actor's career. In 2001, Stiller starred in the movie Sameka Tannenbaum, directed by Wes Anderson, who in turn is a longtime friend of Wilson. Sameka Tannenbaum ended up being one of Anderson's best films, according to many. Well, and Stiller perfectly fit into the already stellar cast. Continuing to conquer the comedy arena. In 2003, Stiller starred in the film Duplex, which is one of my favourite films with the actor. True, despite the fact that the movie mostly received high marks from the audience, its collections can definitely be called a failure. The picture earned at the box office only $19 million with a budget of $40 million, but Duplex was not the only failure Stiller in 2003. In the same year, the screens came out the comedy Black Envy, which also played Jack Black. Its box office wasn't far behind Duplex and grossed only $14 million on a budget of $40 million, ending the year with 2 major styler failures. It felt like it had exhausted its limit of bad luck. And the next year for him became the most successful in his career projects, with his participation shot one after another. In addition to the already mentioned successful acquaintance with the Fockers, with him came out comedy Starsky Hatch, where he again played together with Owen Wilson movie in, coupled with positive reviews, earned at the box office $170 million. Then the screens came out the comedy Here Comes the Field, where Stella played together with Jennifer Aniston, and again $170 million at the box office and positive reviews from the audience. But also on this, Stiller decided not to stop in the same. Year with him came out another comedy Bouncers, where also played Winswan and Styler's wife Christine Taylor. And guess what? $170 million in box office receipts and positive reviews. Thanks to his acquaintance with Fockers and movies from the category All for 170, the actor cumulatively brought the studios in the 2004 year more than $1 billion. 2004 was the year when the word comedy was associated exclusively with Ben Stiller. 2006 year only continued to elevate Stiller to the top of the most profitable actors. Released that year, the comedy night at the museum was able to earn at the box office $574 million, which prompted the creation of 2 sequels, which together earned at the box office $776 million. In 2007, Styler returns to those who essentially made him a worldwide star. He stars in the Farrelly brothers comedies The Girl of My Nightmares and Want. By the standards of his previous works, the financial success of the picture was modest. The movie nevertheless managed to earn $120 million at the box office. On the background of his acting success, Styler, in addition to everything else, shoots his best movie as a director. In 2008 year, the movie comes out Soldiers and Failures, where he played himself Stiller, as well as Jack Black and Robert Downey Jr. The latter, by the way, was nominated for an Oscar in the category of Best Actor. The second plan, which of course, in the current realities, seems something fantastic. To imagine now that a white actor who played African Americans would get one. Anything other than curses directed at him and the censure of Twitter activists is pretty hard to do. But in 2008, when movies were seen as art, they tried to find something to be offended by. Downey, who was mega good in Soldiers of Failure, got his well-deserved movie nomination. Zay, in turn, received the love of audiences and critics, as well as $188 million in box office receipts. On top of that, Tom Cruise, who starred in the movie as a friend, got perhaps the best and definitely the most unrecognizable cameo of his career. Seriously, I don't know a single person who would have guessed before the end credits that it was Tom Cruise. After Soldiers of Misfortune, Stiller started alternating genres. Thus, he first switched to dramatic films, starring in Greenberg and The Story of the Meyerowitz Family, then switched back to comedies, starring first with Eddie Murphy in How to Steal a Skyscraper, and then in the company of Vince Vaughn and Jonah Hill, playing in the movie The Handmaidens. Sometimes he combined both genres, as in the case of his next directorial effort, The Incredible Life of Walter Mitty. All these films, though, received positive reviews from audiences and critics, but to the status of blockbuster any. One of them wasn't reaching. On the other hand, Stiller did not chase blockbusters, consciously choosing more modest and deep projects, to which, of course, can be attributed the film While We Are Young, in which, in addition to Stiller, played Naomi Vodotots. Adam Driver and Amanda Seyfried. A separate point in the biography of the actor can be distinguished his numerous cameos. Stiller had time to appear in the series Friends, play in an episode of the series Mass, star in a video at the Reddit and Almbersked, and also took part in a bunch of different popular shows. In the 2017 year with Stiller came out the movie Brad's Status, and He Is Beautiful, Sense. The movie, and Stiller movie, is also beautiful. By the way, Status of Brad is currently the last movie where we are excited to share an awesome website that offers movies, shows, and documentaries you can stream without paying for multiple subscriptions to Netflix, Max, Hulu, Disney, and other services. Just click the link in the description to explore the best streaming service available today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content. Leave your comments and share ideas for future videos. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update,